everyone, welcome to another episode of Carrots and Steaks. My name is Dheeraj and I welcome you all. Today with me, I have Anshumman Pandita. He has worked with brands like Unibic, Flipkart, Sun Pharma, Abbott, and Unilever. He's here to share some secrets and insights how the leaders operate in this space. Welcome, Anshuman. Welcome to Carrots and Steaks.
Hey Neeraj, thank you so much, and thank you for having me here. So it's pretty exciting for me to be here on Carrots and Steaks. And in fact, I would like to know what is this Carrots and Steaks. So you'll have to talk about that a little bit before we get going. Otherwise, I'm excited. Thank you.
In Xoxoday, we are a rewards and recognition platform. We have all the products which are around loyalty, commissions,
Yeah,
incentive,
of course.
rewards, recognition, right? So the
Yeah.
founder of Xoxoday wanted to conceptualize something where wanted to have real and in-depth insights with the leaders from the
Okay.
FMCG and in your FMCD space, right?
Understood.
While brainstorming the name, we came up with like hundreds of names, but he had that one name in his mind, and that was Carrots and Steaks, right? The market is all about you use multiple ways or adopt multiple methods, something that rewards you, right?
Interesting.
There lies the meaning of this name, which is called Carrots and Steaks. And the credit goes to founder Manoj Agarwal.
Good. Interesting. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, thank you. So would love to know about your current role, as I see that you are working as a VP of e-commerce, international business, and new general trade channels. So would love to know more about your current role at Unibic.
See, Unibic, my association is for around 7.5 years now. I have handled multiple channel sales roles. So I have headed GT, I've headed modern trade business. I am currently taking care of e-commerce business. I have started working on international businesses for Unibic. I do take care of institution, CSD, which we call alternate channels. So in nutshell, it's a strategic role where I try to build new businesses, including GT new business, which is our new product category. Unibic originally is a cookie company. We ventured into sweets and savory some time back. So we're trying to build that as a separate GTM altogether. So that's what I do in Unibic currently.
You know, your e-commerce and D2C, both channels provide really an immense growth, right? It has a huge potential, but maintaining profitability in these channels is something which is really challenging, right? How do you balance the top line growth with maintaining healthy margins in competitive online space?
Yeah, indeed, this is a big challenge. If I say managing both together, it's tough. So but we in Unibic we try to do few things which are relevant to these channels. So for example, the first and foremost would be selling top gross profit products. See, e-commerce as a platform, there are consumers are very experimental, right? Young generation wanted to experiment a lot of new things. Say for example, you would have seen Korean flavor products getting pretty good traction right now, right? Now we try to introduce high profit products, high GP products, which fit into that channel well, and hence consumer who is a relevant consumer for us, younger consumer, experiments that. So one would be higher gross margin product. Second will be direct distributions. Say for example, in general trade or modern trade, you will have a lot of distributors in between. In e-commerce and D2C, we try to be direct to end consumer. So for example, if I have to supply stocks to Blinkit today, I don't have a distributor. We go direct to him. Hence, we save that bit of the margin there and redeploy that into the P&L or marketing, say because marketing is pretty important in the e-commerce space. Coming on the marketing on e-commerce is relatively little cheaper. I would possibly use a word maybe more relevant, because it will reach to a right set of consumers. For example, what we call TAM, total addressable market, right? E-commerce marketing is more relevant because it will reach correct product for the correct consumer. If you advertise on TV, it goes to a lot of people, right? But everybody is not your right consumer. Hence, concentrated way, e-commerce marketing is much relevant. Again, saving bit on the margin front and redeploying it in the P&L somewhere. Last but not the least is the people cost. So for example, in the P&L, in FMCG P&L, a lot of cost is put in the people. For example, in GT, you'll have a lot of salesman cost, right? But in e-commerce, it is more of a centralized structure, hence lesser number of people, hence the cost. So again, that money goes back to the system. This is the way we try to be little more better on the P&Ls. Long way to go. As volume builds up, you will have better P&Ls. But yes, this is the way we try to drive the P&L.
You say pushing the high margin products into these channels. Do you mean like bigger packages? I mean, if you have, let's say, 5 to 10 quality of cookies which are popular in the market, Unibic is a popular brand, right? I'm just taking a very specific example here. Do you mean like instead of a 10 rupee pack, you sell like 30 or 50 rupees pack, the bigger one where your margin is relatively higher? Do you mean that, or are you talking about completely introducing a different product which is or isn't available in a your local kirana or a local store? What do you mean?
It can be both. For example, selling a 100 rupee product, larger product as compared to a 10 rupee product, will give you better AOVs, which is average order value. Hence, you earn better margins. Second will be premium ingredients. Say, for example, selling a sugar-free cookies as compared to a regular cookies. Sugar-free is a premium product. We get better margins, and it can be driven well on the e-commerce platform. So it's both mix of the both price point and the ingredient as well.
You talked about the snack and cookie category, right? Which is highly competitive in nature, with so many established brands and your new age D2C companies are coming in this space, right? Is product innovation or distribution strength which is more critical in maintaining market leadership? What do you think that works now?
I'll answer very diplomatically here. What I feel, the balance is the most important. You'll have to balance between both. For example, innovation will bring differentiation, and at the same time, distribution will drive availability across, say, larger consumer base. So for larger brands, for example, who they have already, done distribution, they have a fairly good distribution. If they are able to innovate well in terms of product innovation, they will get an edge. At the same time, D2C brands who are good on innovation but struggle or are starting to distribute will take little long. They should take a long-term approach on that. But the agility part which D2C brings on the platform shouldn't be left. So, for example, if they become like a legacy brand and don't innovate the way they should be, they will left behind. Hence, they have to have a balance. Both the sides. Larger brands should innovate, work like as a D2C brand, and use their distribution strength. But D2C brands should not leave their agility maybe in the long term and try to build the distribution for, say, next 3, 4, 5 years. That will be the best scenario for both of them.
Okay. What I understood, balance is important. It's not
Yes.
like your innovation versus distribution. Even if you have an innovative product, if your distribution isn't set, because these are the products which are required to be consumed in a period of time, right? So shelf
Exactly.
life of these products are not that high, right? In case
Exactly.
of cookies, it's definitely a few months, but still not year, right? So even if you are an innovative brand, if you are not working much towards distribution, let's say as a small brand, new age D2C brands, you will be
Yes.
failed. As a large brand, if you are only focused on relying on your distribution because from past 20 years your brand has been working, but if you are not innovating with today's consumer, you will eventually die. So it's a balance of both.
True. There's a classic example I can take here. I just came to my mind. So Britannia distribution is one of the largest in the biscuit space. They launched a product, Croissant. Now, Croissant is a very differentiated premium product, and they use their distribution strength to build that brand. And I think in a year or 2 years' time, it was a 100 crore brand. So that's the beauty of distribution plus innovation when you put it together.
So, with growth coming from multiple channels, your modern trade, your general trade, and your D2C and e-commerce channels, the conflict becomes inevitable. How do you manage pricing, promotions, distributions to have a harmony among these channels? Because at the end of the day, your retailers, your stores
Right.
are working with you for a longer period of time, but ease
True.
of doing business into the market as such thing has been provided to you by these new age channels. So you don't want to lose your any sort of strength across all these channels. So how do brands manage that?
I believe answer is very simple. It is differentiated assortment. You will have some overlaps in terms of product. You will have some overlaps in terms of consumer. But I think consumer has a very clear expectation. So for example, in modern trade, they would want to go for a basket buying or maybe a monthly basket buying where larger packs will play an important part. So if you are well in terms of your availability and price promotions are well on the larger packs, you will be better sold off there. Coming to the smaller retail outlet, it will be a top-up kind of an outlet where smaller packs will sell better. So your focus has to be smaller packs. Coming on the e-commerce bit, it again, consumer is experimental. So you should experiment your premium propositions, your multiple assortments, or say mix of all product put together. You have to give that experience to them there. In my view, the answer is very simple. It is focus on different assortments across the channels. While there will be some overlaps between consumers, some overlap between the products, but consumer expectations across all platforms is pretty different. Hence, keeping conflicts away within the channels.
With so many aspects coming to the picture, your premium packaging, your healthier snacks, your different local flavors, where do you see this is going in the future? Right? It's not your standard good day, your standard coconut flavor or your glucose flavor. It's more evolving in nature now and very rapidly. Where do you
Right.
think this is going? How brands are evolving?
See, the future of snacking in India is headed towards, for sure, healthier, more personalized, premium options, driven by the combination of changing consumer preferences. Exactly, right? So consumer is getting more health aware, right? So their lifestyle is evolving. Hence, all these things are going to come into play. So in Unibic, what we basically do, so we have categorized this into few of the pointers. For example, functional snacks like say protein based, which again picking it up right now. In fact, interestingly, I saw high protein curds, high protein batter, high protein breads are there, right? So that's picking up. Another functional products which we try to build is low sugar or no sugar cookies, sugar free cookies, which we call it, gluten free. These categories are seeing the growth. So that's where we are working towards. Then you have natural and clean label products. It was there for some energy bars earlier. Now it is moving to some other categories. You rightly said local and regional flavors picking up pretty well. For example, in our Indian sweets and savory category, we cater to both south and north products. We have butter muruku, which is south based product, and we have bhujia, which is a north based product. So regional flavors will be interesting. You have a lot of guys experimenting core south product, right? You have Kerala based products coming up. So that's something we are doing as well. Then you will have cultural connects like say millets, classic example. People are driving millets, so these specific things will pick up. Spices, millets, interesting things will pick up. Then you have premium ingredients like quinoa, say shea. All these things are also seeing the growth. So hence these are the basic things which we see growing in future, and we are also trying to utilize these things in our proposition whenever we're launching a new thing.
Since you have spent so many years in this industry, are there any specific markets where these brands face higher acceptance and faster growth as compared to other places in India?
No, so if you talk about within India, so India is a very young country, right? So you have younger generations spread it across the lengths and breadth of country. Interestingly, e-commerce is also penetrating in multiple geographies now. So availability of these products have increased. Initially, it was seen more traction in places like say Bangalore, Delhi, but smaller cities are picking up pretty well. In fact, there are certain insights e-commerce players gives us that their experimentation happens better in smaller cities, tier 2, tier 3 cities. So acceptance, people, the day it gets launched, so for example, Blinkit launched in Jammu some time back. The conversion was much better when they started say in city like say Lucknow or Jaipur. So these things say that India, it's not concentrated at one place. It's seeing, I mean, it's seeing the growth or demands across the board.
I had a recent conversation with Lactalis India head, who's also into managing into modern retail channel and e-commerce. There I got the insight, which is a relatively bit different, is the experimentation is more in the your urban towns, places like Bangalore, Mumbai, Chennai, but acceptance and the loyalty which you grow more is in the smaller towns. right? Once they get to start something, they continue to stick with it if they like it.
Okay, interesting. Because for our categories, what we are into, we have seen that it's across. I mean, the larger user base is still in, say, Bangalore and Delhi NCR. Smaller city, say for example, we have Q-commerce, right? And there are dark stores. Bangalore will have the highest number of dark stores, possibly 500, 600. A smaller city will have lesser number. Hence, the volume will be smaller. But when we see experimentations, possibly everything is equal. In fact, some places we feel more of people come and experiment from the smaller towns. Different category, maybe different experiences.
Okay, I can relate this to a point on the fact that there are some tier 2, tier 3 towns where larger income group people prevail, right? Your Kanpur is there, your Surat is there, your Ludhiana is there, your Chandigarh is there, and Mysore is there. These are some of the insights of the Indian market, right, Anshuman? Now, if we talk about the international market, what are all markets that you are currently working with? And are there any special insights from those markets that you believe are completely different from the Indian market? Obviously, there would be huge differences, or any similarity that is working in India and you can apply to those places, if there are any.
So in international markets, so whatever limited experience I have, say markets like SAR countries, which is your neighboring countries, markets like GCC, Middle East, and to some extent US, where Indian diaspora is pretty high, you see similar kind of nature of buying. Say for example, in GCC, I was there last to last week, and I saw consumer buying pattern little similarish what we see in India. Just because you have Indian diaspora who is there to save maximum money, hence they prefer value products. So when you go to a DMart in or Reliance in India, you see larger packs, better promotions, better price offs. Similar we could see that in, say, GCC market in stores like Lulu and Nestos. But then you have players like Carrefour, where premium products will take the front seat. There the behaviors are very different. So if somebody wants to, say, go and experiment, we have been doing this. So Middle East or all these international markets are not easy. For example, when we go there, we are a very small player as compared to the larger brands. It is similar to what a D2C brand will have to have when he goes to DMart or Reliance to list his product, right? It's not easy job for him. There are a lot of entry barrier when a smaller brand will try to go and launch an international market. He will be asked for a higher listing fees, the visibility fees, then getting a good distributor or importer in these countries is not easy. So these are the barriers, but that's how the business is. It's more organized and more evolved as compared to India. For example, in most of these markets, modern GT plays very less. I mean, hardly. It's more of a modern trade player there. 80%, 90% is modern trade only. So getting there is not easy. Takeaway is go slow. For example, we plan only 3, 4, 5 products and try to spread it rather than going for one chain or 2 chains. Go with only 3 products, 4 products. Establish your brand and then move ahead. That's how we have been doing it. And if you get a good importer or distributor, nothing like that. You will be able to get faster into the outlets. You may not save cost, but yeah, you'll get faster there. That's broadly what I have observed out there.
I guess this would be the case with the countries like Dubai, right? With the places like
Yes.
Dubai. But in
Yes.
terms of countries like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal, where I believe your local kirana shops are there, just like India, right? That is not the case with the places like Dubai, right? And some sort of a similarity is there as compared to because their e-commerce and your quick commerce channels are not that prevalent.
Yes.
E-commerce is there, definitely there with the players like Amazon and all, but it's not that aggressive as it is in India. So I guess there your local, similarly your kirana shops or stores might be playing major role there.
It's pretty similar. Say, for example, if you took example of Sri Lanka or Nepal. So Nepal is, I believe, extended version of eastern markets. If you go to Guwahati and Kathmandu, you will find pretty similar ways of working. Food style is same almost. I mean, the way they behave is little similarish. So similar thing. The only challenge for Indian brand to go there is the taxation, because the import duties in these countries are pretty heavy. Hence, it becomes little difficult for brands to go and be competitive. Otherwise, the nature or the behaviors are same in terms of retail.
This has been quite an insightful conversation. I believe anybody who would be starting into this category as a founder can listen to this conversation, they will have huge insights.
I'm
Or
sure.
if they want to connect with you for some sort of mentorship, they should definitely look out you on LinkedIn, Anshumman V Pandita, and connect with you. I suggest all the D2C founders.
Yeah, I'll be happy to help. I'm there. I'll be there. No worries on that part.
Wonderful. With this, Anshuman, I want to thank you for taking out time and joining us today for this conversation. I really loved the conversation. This was a category which, this is our day-to-day consumption thing, right?
Yes.
And thinking about this to this much detail is something which I'm very fascinated with now. Thank you so much once again.
Thanks, Dheeraj. Thanks for having me here. It was an exciting discussion. I mean, these podcasts will definitely help founders or people who want to explore these businesses. Pleasure, always pleasure.